about to go live. The countdown will begin now. And greetings to you, our dear audience. We are live and direct on the Movement Radio. I greet you, dear audience, and to as many as those that have been joining us in our broadcast over the past couple of weeks. Thank you so very much for your consistency. And here we are again, bringing to you a fresh episode on the Movement Radio broadcast. And we have quite a number of articles that we are set up for you, giving you the kind of analytical perspective that you would indeed find very interesting. We are different from the rest of the bunch. We are quite a different entity, different from the sanitized, the PR nature of the mainstream media. So we are poised to provide a rich, robust, and very interactive analysis today at the Movement Radio. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I have the pleasure of having our correspondent in Abuja in the studio. I pass the mic to him to introduce himself.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Studio time check here in Abuja is 17 minutes after 5 p.m. Quite a wet evening. The rain is here, and everybody, all those civil servants who are leaving their office, drive safely, and I wish you safe return back to your family. And anywhere you are in the world, whatever you are doing, I wish you the best. This is Movement Radio. I have to thank you, each and every one of you, for being here always. Your loyalty, your consistency is very important. This is Nigerian project, and Movement Radio, we say Movement Radio is the voice of liberation. Here we give you something different from what the conventional media give you. Our content is unique, is top notch, is different. We have different approach to issues. So Nigeria is a project for all of us. All of us have to contribute our quota. So this is our contribution in Movement Radio. You can do well by commenting, by picking up the mic on X, as you join us across all the social media platforms. So we are always grateful for your coming. Without you, we won't be here. So, and let's join hand. Let's spread the message. Let's invite as much as we can. Let's engage our post on various social media platforms. Share it to as many as your contacts, many groups as you can, and then invite a lot of people. Bring a lot of people, even with different and contrary opinion, because in Movement Radio we give room to every mind to come and share their opinion. So when we all, the only thing that we are doing is what we are trying to find that common ground that will bring us together, and then we'll look path a way through which we will liberate ourselves. Not liberation, just mere word liberation. No, mental liberation. Because we at Movement Radio, we understand that the bondage we are is not just the physical bondage, but psychological and mental bondage. So we are trying to find that path that will take us to that actual liberation where our mind, that neocolonialism that is currently happening, will break the shell. Then we'll all be out, and we'll have a Nigeria that will be proud to bequeath to our own children. So I remain Abdullah Salisu, Movement Radio Abuja. Let's have a smooth ride. Make sure you contribute. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, so that we'll go far. The message will go far, and the liberation work towards a free Nigeria, true citizenship, is possible with your effort. Thank you.
Yes, indeed, true citizenship is possible with our collective effort. And I assure you, one of the biggest issues or hurdle that we have currently is the lack of participation. All right, is a very big issue. All right, and the office of the citizen is the highest office of the land. The highest office of any society is the office of the citizen. All right, for you to participate in your own liberation. If you are in that tight corner where um, it seems as though everything is weaponized against you, all right, even hunger is weaponized against you, all right, where you have a siege situation, an ambush situation, all right, it is actually a clarion call for all lovers of justice and all free minds, freeborns. If you are indeed freeborn, no one should hold you captive. No one should hold you captive. You should be able to fight for your liberation. And this is what the movement radio aims to achieve towards the cause of our activities. So thank you so very much, everybody, for joining us. Omologo, thank you. We are firing on all cylinders. We are firing on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on X. Come on this journey with us for our brand new episode for today. And the topic is actually verdict over vote. Verdict over votes. I'll do the reading. My colleague here would do the summary and we'll do the mind map together, shall we? Let's go through what we have for you today. All right. Verdict over vote. How Nigerians court quietly became the real electorate and why the people must take their mandate back by Abdullahi Salisu Aliyu. The Movement Radio Abuja correspondent. If 9 wigged men and women in a courtroom in Abuja can, months after the fact, hand a governorship to a candidate the ballot boxes never chose, what exactly are Nigerians queuing under the sun to do every election season? That is not a rhetorical flourish. It is a description of what has now happened often enough to be called a pattern. All right? Often enough to be called a pattern. Not an accident. In 2020, the Supreme Court sacked Bayelsa's governor-elect barely 24 hours before his inauguration over a form his deputy filled incorrectly. In 2020, the same court removed a sitting governor in Imo State. And installed in his place a candidate who had finished fourth. In 2023, Kano governorship changed hands by tribunal and court of appeal ruling. Of the 44 federal and state legislative seats contested after the 2023 general election, 35 were rerun because a court, not a ballot, said the first count could not stand. This is an uncomfortable arithmetic behind a question many Nigerians now ask quietly, and which this essay asks out loud. If the court keeps overruling, if the court keep overruling, the coalition center, whose republic is this? The first headline says a question, not a verdict. Let this be stated plainly to the outset because the argument that follows is easy to caricature. This essay does not allege that any judge acted in bad faith. It does not ask Nigerians to stop voting, quite the opposite. The argument is structural, not personal, that the system in which the judiciary can and routinely does override the outcome of an election rather than merely policing how it was. Okay, so sorry, I am having timeout, but please bear with me. All right. Yes, the outcome of an election, other than merely policing how it was conducted, has drifted from what an independent judiciary in a democracy is for. The question is not did the court get the law right in any single case. The question is whether the architecture that hands court this much power over who governs is capable with a country that still calls itself a democracy of the people. The next headline, what the elders built before the wig arrived. What the elders built before the wig arrived. Pre-colonial Nigeria was not a lawless expanse waiting for British jurisprudence to arrive and civilize it. A myth this essay's companion pieces has already dismantled at length. Among the Yoruba, the Oyomesi, a council of chiefs led by the Bashorun, did not select the Alaafin, but it held real exercised power to check him, up to compelling his abdication through the ritual presentation of an empty calabash or parrot's eggs when he ruled tyrannically. Among the Igbo, there was no throne to check in the first place. Title-taken bodies such as the Ozo and the Nze and community assemblies like the Ohaneze, governed through consensus and disputes, were settled by councils of elders answerable to the community that empowered them, not a cast of professional judges appointed from above. Can you hear me loud and clear, Mr.
Yes,
Abdullahi?
yes,
Okay. That
yes,
distinction,
I can
checking
hear
power
you.
versus
You can continue.
okay, okay. It abrogates disputes about how authority was exercised. It did not sit above the community and hand authority over whomever it preferred. That distinction, checking power versus substituting for the people's choice, is the hinge on which this entire argument turns. And it's what carrying forward into what colonialism did next. The next subtitle says the colonial courtroom built to rule, not to represent. The judiciary Nigeria inherited in 1960 was not designed to protect anyone's mandate. Because under colonial rule, there was no mandate to protect. British courts in Nigeria existed to administer indirect rule, to abjugate disputes among the colonized in ways that kept commerce, taxation, and order running smoothly for the colonial administration, while actual political authority sat with a governor general answerable to London, not to Lagos, Kano to Enugu. Judges interpreted ordinances. They did not certify the will of the Nigerian electorate because a Nigerian electorate, in the modern sense, barely existed until the very last years of colonial rule. The point matters because Nigerians' post-colonial democracy did not inherit a judiciary built for democratic adjudication. It inherited a judiciary built for administrative order and then asked that inherited institution to referee the country's most sensitive democratic contests. The tension the country lives with today has roots that go back further than any single election cycle. The next subtitle says the post-colonial pattern when the gavel outvotes the ballots. Section 285 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, creates election petition tribunal and gives the courts up to the Supreme Court the final word on disputed elections. In principle, this is unremarkable. Every democracy needs a legal reform to resolve genuine electoral fraud or malpractice. In practice, in Nigeria, that forum has repeatedly done more than referee. It has decided the outcome outright, sometimes on grounds that had nothing to do with how citizens vote or voted. Consider the records. In May 2019, the Supreme Court ruled that All Progressive Congress had held no valid primaries in Zamfara State and therefore had no candidate on the ballot at all, nullifying 36 elective positions the party's candidate had already been declared to have won. The handing every one of the seats, governorship included, to the People's Democratic Party runner-up. In February 2020, the Supreme Court sacked Bayelsa's governor-elect less than a day before his swearing in, not because of any dispute over the vote count, but because his running mate had submitted inconsistent academic records to INEC and installed the second place finisher as governor. Weeks earlier, in January 2020, the same court had removed Imo State sitting governor, who had governed for over 7 months after winning the 2019 election, and declared the winner to be a candidate who had placed fourth in the actual count on a disputed recalculation of results from disqualified polling units. In 2023, Kano State governorship changed hands between the tribunal, the Court of Appeal, and the final Supreme Court, as did Plateau's, before the Apex Court's final ruling in January 2024 closed out the disputes from that year's general election, a process that, across the country, generated 35 court-order rerun elections out of 44 contested federal and state legislative seats. In 2024, Edo State governorship disputes ran the same course, ending the Supreme Court in mid-2025, with the losing candidate publicly accepting the finality of the ruling, while rejecting in his words that it amounted to justice. None of these outcomes, in their own or on their own, proves a judge did wrong. Courts exist precisely to apply law to facts, including facts about false affidavits and defective primaries. The law on those 2 points is not in dispute, and this essay differs entirely to the court on questions of law. What should trouble every Nigerian is the volume and the pattern. A democracy in which the identity of the person which governs a state of several millions people turns again and again on a certificate, a form, or a tribunal's rereading of ballots cast in units fewer votes could name. While the people who actually stood in line in the sun to make a choice watch that choice get reversed by people they never voted for and cannot vote out. The next subheading says the turnout, the numbers cannot hide. Nigerians' voter turnout has fallen almost every election cycle since the return of civilian rule, from roughly 69% in 2003 to 57% in 2007, 53.7% in 2011, 43.7% in 2015, 34.8% in 2019, and a historic low of 26.7% in 2023, the worst presidential turnout on the continent that year, according to independent electoral analysts. Fewer than 25 millions of Nigerians come more than 93 million registered voters cast a ballot in 2023. The country's own election monitoring community attributes this collapse to several forces at once: insecurity, logistical failure, poverty, and distrust of INEC among them. This essay does not claim that court-decided elections are the single cause of the collapse or that collapse. The evidence for a single cause does not exist, and any writer who told you otherwise would be selling you a slogan, not an argument. But it is neither irrational nor cynical for a citizen to ask what the point of queuing is when the final word so often belongs to a courtroom the citizens never entered. A voter who has watched a governorship change hands by tribunal ruling in a state not their own carries their memory or that memory into the next election. Distrust travels. The next subheading says independence cuts both ways. The honest, uncomfortable core of this argument is that judicial independence, properly understood, was never meant to mean judicial supremacy over the ballot. An independent judiciary interprets the law without fear or favor, including election law. It punishes fraud, malpractice, and disqualifying misconduct wherever the evidence leads. What it should not become structurally is the institution of final resort for deciding who actually governs, because that role belongs to the electorate, and an election system healthy enough to deserve public trust resolves candidate eligibility disputes such as forged certificate and invalid primaries before the ballot is printed, not after the people have already voted and gone home. When Nigerians court inherit disputes that should have been settled at the nominal stage or nomination stage, a defective primary, a false academic claim, and resolve them by installing a different winner months after the votes, the judiciary is not checking power on the community's behalf, the way the Oyo Mesi or the Igbo elders once did. After the fact, with no mechanism for the community to enter back except to keep voting and hope the pattern breaks. This is the structural reform this essay advocates for, and it is a reform of process, not a verdict on any individual. And pre-election candidate screening so that eligibility disputes are resolved before Nigerians vote, not after. Set strict, short, non-extendable timelines for all election litigation so that petitions cannot outlast the mandate itself, and narrow the grounds on which a court may install a losing candidate as winner, reserving that remedy for proven fraud in the vote itself rather than paperwork disputes that belongs to political parties and INEC to resolve at nomination. Let the judiciary be independent. Let INEC be independent. Let each carry out its own duty without one silencing or silently absorbing the others. And above all, let the people's will, once freely and fairly cast, prevail, not the other way round. A voter who has watched a governorship change hands by tribunal ruling in a state is not their own. In a state not their own, carries that memory into the next election. Distrust travels. The people must still vote and this. None of this is an argument for apathy. Low turnout does not punish the system. It simply hands more of the field to those who already know how to win it. The answer to a judiciary that has grown too central to electoral outcome is not a citizenry that grows more absent from the polling unit. It is a citizenry that keeps voting loudly and specifically, that its lawmakers close the gap between Section 285 and the ballot box. That pre-election screening be taken seriously, that litigation timelines be tightened, and that the remedy of installing a non-winner be reserved for first and gravest cases of proven electoral fraud, not procedural error. Nigeria has before redrawn the boundaries between institutions when citizens insisted loudly enough. The defeat of the third time agenda in 2006 is proof that structural overreach is not permanent once a country decides to name its once a country decides to name it. Naming this one is the first task. The court should have no business deciding who governs Nigerians people. It has every business making sure the people's own decision was made fairly. That is the line that essay asks about reader, voter, lawyer, lawmaker, and judge alike to help hold. So that is the article. And of course, we want to do the summary for those that are just joining us in the broadcast. So, yes, I am so much privileged to have all of us join us today, and we are poised to show us every angle to this topic. All right. Verdict over votes. Very interesting. So let's go through the summary of that
Yes.
great article. So yeah,
Yes.
while we wait for others to join us. So is that edible enough, or should
Yes,
I?
yes, yes, it's okay.
Okay, so over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is Movement Radio, the voice of liberation. And here I go with the summary of the article verdicts over votes. This is the summary. Nigeria's judiciary overrunning the votes, undermining democracy. This analysis examines how Nigeria's judiciary system has increasingly become the ultimate please can you reduce it a little? The ultimate arbiter of election. Yes. Oh good, thank you. It's okay like this. The ultimate arbiter of election outcomes. Often superseding the will of the electorate as expressed through the ballot box. This trend, characterized by court ruling that overturns election results based on procedural or technical grounds rather than the vote count itself, raises fundamental questions about the nature of democracy in Nigeria. Key observations. Number one, that's bullet point one, pattern of judicial overturn. The essay highlights a recurring pattern where courts, including the Supreme Court, have nullified election results or removed elected officials months after the fact. Examples include the 2020 Bayelsa governorship nullification due to the deputy's filling incorrect form. Then the 2020 Imo governorship changes, installing a fourth place candidate. Then the 2023 Kano and Plateau State governorship dispute being decided by the tribunal and the appellate court. Fourth, the 35 outcome out of 40, the 35 out of 44 contest federal and state legislative seat in 2023, leading to the court order reruns. Structural issues, not individual malfeasance. The argument is presented as a systemic problem, not an accusation of judicial bad faith. The core issues is the architecture of poverty that grants the judicial such significant influence over electoral outcome. Historical context. Bullet point one, pre-colonial Nigeria. Systems like the Yoruba, Oyomesi, and the Igbo community assemblies featured a check on power that were accountable to the people, adjudicating dispute rather than substituting their own choice. Colonial judiciary. The inherited judicial system was designed for administrative order and indirect rule, not for the certifying the will of the Nigerian electorate. This is the legacy continued to shape post-colonial democratic context. Impact on the voter turnout. The essay links the declining voter turnout in Nigeria to the perception that court decision can override the people's mandate. This distrust, discourages participation. Judicial independence by its supremacy. While the judicial independence is crucial for interpreting laws without fear of error, it should not equate to judicial supremacy over the ballot. The role of determining who governs should ultimately belong to the electorate. Proposed reform. Strengthening INEC. That's number one. Some of the proposed reform. Bullet point one. Strengthening the INEC. Enhancing the independence and pre-election candidate screening capacity of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to resolve eligibility dispute before elections. Bullet point two, strict litigation timelines. Implementing short, not extendable timelines for all election litigation. Bullet point three, narrowing grounds for overturning results. Limiting the grounds on which courts can install losing candidates, reserving this for proven electoral fraud rather than procedural errors. So that's the summary of the article verdict. Conclusion. The concluding part says the essay advocates for a structural reform that refines the judicial rules in elections. The court should ensure fairness in the electoral process, not decide who governs. The people will, once freely and fairly cast, must prevail. Citizens are urged to continue voting while actively demanding legislative action to close the gap between judicial pronouncement and the ballot box. So, thank you. That's the summary for those of you who have those join us. The title of the article once again is Verdicts over Votes, and it's just trying to explain the issue in Nigerian context where most of the election results, most of the times or outcomes of elections are determined in the courtroom rather than the actual results announced by INEC. So the article just try to look at the contradictions or the relationship or in the issue of independence of the judiciary and the independence of the election, and who truly owns the power. Is it the INEC or the judiciary or the people? Because the article is just trying to call for a structural adjustment where the citizens' will should always prevail, not the judges in a courtroom that may be not pointing finger at anybody, but might be influenced by one or two individuals. So the will of the people should always prevail. So now we go into the mind map, court over the mind map. So courts over voting, Nigerian electoral crisis. So this one now for our own people, our street people, our own brothers and sisters, where the long oibo where we speak, it too long for una or it too long. No, even us na try we dey try, but let's all because we say it's a collective work. It's something that all of us will go join hand do am. So we need to speak the language where all of us can relate and all of us can understand and all of us will know what we are asked to do. So now, number one, part of the electoral crisis, what we talk about. Let me shift it a little. Can it shift a little? Just can you shift it a little, please? Okay, thank you. Sorry. Let hand. Thank you. Okay. So the problem, courts as real electorate. So problem number one, where we don't point for this article, we say courts where don't take the position of the citizen, the people where they vote, those people where they cast their vote, people where they queue under the sun, they put their thumb, they thumbprint. Now court don't take am. One, judges overriding ballot box result. Judges now, all the people where don't gather, they will come say this one don't win by so margin. But if the matter go court, it go turn around. One judge where they sit down, with all due respect, na him go say talk. This one because of this will happen before election or during the election or something will happen. This person is now disqualified, and the next person where they follow am or person where they far, na him go take am. So judges now then they what? They rule outcome of election, not the numbers where people don't cast for the polling unit. The next one, the pattern, not isolated incident. So this one, the pattern, that's the way it happen. No be saying na one or two way it don't happen, but it don't dey follow a pattern, because if you look at how it happen for Nigeria, it don't dey become pattern, it don't dey become normal, it don't dey become the way where some people don't even think say if this one, some people even during their campaign they go dey talk say no vote for that candidate, or people go dey even dey put fear for you, say that party get court issue, that candidate get court issue, because they know at the end of the day, even if you vote the candidate, court go fit turn out. Maybe even if you vote out, they will say leave am, make go. After, even if you win, court matter wey dey, they go use and turn am. So that's one of then examples. So example what we get, where we go be tell you, as we tell you say no be isolated case, no be one, no be two, e don become normal, e don dey become the way wey people dey try come inside government. The Bayelsa example where governorship candidates just one day 24 hours to his employment, court don overrule. Then the Imo state issue, where the fourth position become the next person wey win the election. So now let's go to the next one, the core argument, structural not personal. So the core argument, the main issue, the main thing wey dis essay dey try drag be say, no be say e dey talk about one person, two person change, or when you talk to person, maybe we no dey point fingers at the individual, that's the judges. We dey respect dem, dey dey do good work, and no be say dey dey do am with bad mind or bad faith. Dem too dey dey do am with what? Good faith. But we need structural change. We need the change. The system need to change, not person to change. The first thing wey the essay don drag matter say na so e suppose be, judiciary override election outcome should change. So court or lawyers, how dey dey take argue? E should not be the reason why this person go become governor, or this person go become president, or this person go become senator, or this person go become governor. No, judiciary override election outcome should change. So how we go take do am?
I think our correspondent has frozen. His network has indeed acted somehow. He will join us, but make we dey talk about wetin we dey talk about dey go, so that our, and the reason why we are doing this pidgin version is because make our people for know wetin dey happen beyond every reasonable doubt. Make you know for be say, we no understand wetin una dey talk. Una too dey speak big grammar. Okay, I think we have our 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 colleague back. Are you there, Mr. Abdullahi?
It's, sorry, I'm here. It's my network because it's raining heavily
Yes.
here.
Yes, I can
Sorry,
hear
my
the noise
network
of
is
the.
tripping.
Yes. So sorry about that. I can hear the rain from the background. So now the kind system we will find ourselves. Small rain like this, everywhere don't burst. That is the kind of Nigeria. I'm also battling network issue here too. So yeah. Are you ready for us now? Are you there?
So, yes, I'm here.
So please proceed.
Can you hear me?
Because yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Yes. So, the core arguments, as I said, as I dey talk am before network just speak me out. We say judiciary overriding election outcome. This one, judiciary should not be the one wey go dey decide. Our judges, our fathers, we dey respect them. They should not be the ones. And the structural adjustment or the structural reform wey this article dey argue, all those things wey no be we dey talk about system, we no dey talk about individual, we no dey point fingers at the judges, we no dey point fingers at the what, the lawyers. We dey say make the system work, make e be the way wey be say the vote wey the citizen don line up under sun, under rain, dey stand for hours, make e be the result, make e no come be decided inside court. E say beyond policing conduct of the deciding winner, make court dey the police, make just dey supervise, make just dey look, no decide the winners. Den number three, questioning the architecture of power. Dis article dey talk so tey, make the judiciary just dey dey look who and who, wetin dey dey do, e dey right? If e no dey right, make dey talk am, so dat make dat one na their what, responsibility, na their job be dat. So the next one is what? Historical context. Now we dey go history learn, we don dey go back history, we wan see how dis thing take come. No be today,
e get history link, e get connection with our history. So the first one we dey talk about, look at how our own system dey even before the coming of the oyibo. This is how our system dey, how our forefathers, our ancestors, how they dey take operate. The Yoruba Oyomesi taking the Alafin. So the Yoruba Oyomesi wey den they are the council wey dey judge, dey dey do things. Dem no dey decide who become the Alafin, but dey dey oversee the Alafin, how him dey take operate. Anyhow him be, dey dey only what when him do things wey no be right, dey either carry empty calabash give am or dey carry the parrot egg give am as if to show say him no do the right thing and him no dey do the right thing to the people. But dem no dey decide who become the person wey dey occupy the Alafin seat. The same thing with the Igbo community. The Igbo community wey you no go find say e get one person wey na him be the ruler. The community chief like the Nze, the Igbo title holders, then the Ohanises, all of them, all those ones dey operate as what? Dey check, but they no dey decide. They only what? Judge over community, dey dispute, things wey dey happen, dispute issue wey dey happen between people, na im dey dey judge. But they no dey decide who become who. The person, the people go know say yes, if before you become Uzo title holder or the Nze or dey become part of the Ohanese member, na the people go know, they go express say yes, this person don deserve to be in that seat. Any chieftaincy title na the people dey decide, but other than what is happening today. Then accountability to the people. All of those people wey dey occupy those seats, they were what? They are the people, they are always accountable to the people. Na them on their own, they no dey decide who do anything. The people are the ones deciding. That's to tell you that everything is the people. So then we come into the colonial era, that's the colonial legacy, when Oyibo come Nigeria, the judicial system wey dey operate, the court system wey dey operate for us. Then they say legacy, court built to rule. So the court system wey Oyibo people build that time, na for them to rule. No be say na for them to do, to serve the interest of the people. The first thing be say inherit judicial system for administrative order. All the courts are just there to what? To punish people wey no obey the white people. No be say they are there to make sure say what the people want is what is prevailing or what is happening in the system. So if you no pay tax to the British or you no dey do the right thing to the colonial masters, na there the court go take punish you. No be say when the people do something, the court go help them get wetin they want. So then not designed for democratic adjudication. That the court where the white people do that time is not for you say people go or air their opinion. It's what is for them to just govern. That's what they want. Then tension from yes, tension from colonial roots. So all the things wey they dey do is from what? They get it from the what? The colonial system. The judges they operate based on the British rule. And everything wey they dey do to serve the interest of the white people. That's the Oyibos. That's what they are doing. Everything wey they dey do is for their own good, no be for the goods of the people. So now we go to the next one. So post-colonial pattern. So after the colonial, after the white people don't go, don't vacate, don't give us that thing where they call say they don't give us freedom, independence, wey we don't get, but it's wahala still dey. So we say pattern, gap overturns violence. So now e become say the agbada or the attire wey our people dey wear come turn na im dey decide the outcome of election. So now we don dey go into law. Section 25 of the 1999 section 285 of the 1999 constitution as amended says court should what? Should oversee issues, election dispute or party dispute, but it should not be the decider of the election. So court final words on dispute election. So the court only job is what? To give election dispute, to settle election matter, all the kasala wey dey happen between politicians should be the act of not deciding the election. So examples of court deciding outcomes. So all the example wey court wey don decide who become who and who wins election in Nigeria, who govern the people for 4 years, 8 years sometimes. These are example. The Zamfara 2019 election, where the APC then lose all the seats because the court say what? They don't have good, they no do the right primaries. The governor, the House of Reps, all the legislators from that side lose what? Lose their seat. Then everything go back to what? To the PDP. Then that's where your current Minister of Defense, Bello Matole, that's when he become governor in Zamfara State. That's how it take happen. Then the Bayelsa 2020, sorry, election is overturned, where a candidate 24 hours, just one day, for that person to be sworn in into election, to be into office. Sorry, they turn am say him deputy no fill the form correctly. In school papers, the things wey him fill as in school certificate, they are not correct. So then e turn to the next person, the second person wey dey win for the arrangement, first second, na im come take over. Then the Imo 2020 also, that one where so the Supreme Court turn everything, where the fourth person become the winner. That's three issues. Now the fourth one, the Kano and the Plateau election, where the tribunal say this, the appeal court say this before e reach to the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court change, because the tribunal say one thing, the appeal court say different thing. One candidate celebrate at the tribunal, when they reach to appeal court, another candidate celebrate because appeal court announce say na him be the winner. When e reach to Supreme Court, the Supreme Court announce another person. So na so the thing take happen. That's the court deciding who wins. No be the vote wey people cast, where the people line and cast, no be wetin. Then the Edo election in 2024 also, that one na another one. Five example, Edo election, how we take do before court will finally decide who is the winner, not the people wey line up and cast their vote. So all these ones na what? Na post-colonial examples, things wey don happen after we don get, say we don get independence. So now we dey talk about impact, declining voter. So now all these things we no dey talk, this essay no dey talk say na only because say na court dey decide election, that's why people no dey come out to vote. No, but it's part of it. Because if you look at it, after you go line up under sun hours, sometimes hunger dey mama you, you still stand there gidigba, you line. Sometimes you even throw banters with one of your people wey you dey line. This one push you, this one push you, this one wan do magu magu, all these things. But at the end of the day, court go come decide, no be your vote matters, na the court statement na im matter. So e contribute to why people no dey come out to vote. Say after all, even if my candidate win, at the end of the day, the court fit turn am. So that will make people dey fear to go out and vote. So the impact now, the first one is what? Falling turnout since civilian rule. Since 1999, when we don come back to civilian rule, when we don get the 1999 election, then the 2003 election e give us another thing, 2007 e give us another thing, till 2023 wey is the lowest, less than 30%, just 26 to 27% na im of people na im say, just 20 something million people over when we say INEC announce say 93 million people don register for their what? PVC, and dey collect am, but we only have 25 million people na im come out and vote. no be something wey we suppose think about. Wetin dey cause all these things? And na INEC themselves talk am. And for the whole Africa, that's the lowest, the 2023 election. So how can we make the difference? How we go take change am? So causes is what? The things wey don cause dis thing, insecurity dey inside. We know, that's why we say no be judicial pronouncement be the only issue. Insecurity contribute. Poverty, people I no get food, how I go take go stand there for hours? I dey go my farm, I dey carry pure water go sell for the people wey dey queue. I go still go hustle because I no get anything to eat. Then distrust also. People dey think say even if I go I count, they no go count am correctly or the person wey, and the way the same thing, and people no dey even trust wetin go come, maybe even from the court or from the electoral umpire, that's the electoral institution, that's the INEC. People get distrust on top those things, so na im dey contribute. Then citizenship question, that citizens question. So after all these things, we get distrust, insecurity dey, poverty dey, and a court fit change the result of the election, fit say change the winner of the election. Then citizen go ask this question: what the point of queuing? Why should I go and queue and vote? Why should I go and vote? Why should I go and stand there and waste my time? Na wetin the citizen, that's the people dey ask, na im result to all this issue wey we dey talk. So next one, the people's role. That's the wetin the people should
Yeah,
do is what
make that take that part. We are almost ending that article, and
article.
I'm using this medium to call on our people to participate. Please feel free to join. Feel free to drop your comments at the comment section. We are not here to just speak to ourselves. This is not supposed to be a monologue. It's supposed to be a dialogue. All right, a dialogue between we in the studio here and members of the public. All right, so please, we anticipate your participation, and we have made it very easy for you. You can, up on the X platform, and you can also drop your comments across all social media platforms. We are going to see it and read it out for everybody to hear. So, moving on in the article, all right, because when we talk about the proposed reforms, wetin be the solution to this problem? All right, after we don analyze all of the wetin dey happen, all right, what is not the solution? Strengthening democracy. How we want to strengthen the government of all of us? Like now, all of us. That is the whole essence of democracy. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. That is the whole essence of democracy. So after all of these things where they happen, maybe say court don't turn themselves to oga over the people's choice just because of some technicalities. After people don't do campaign, after they don't vote, court go just come say, no be the person will now vote for na him win, na another person na him win. And if you look at wetin dey happen for Osun State now, for wetin I dey hear, I been dey hear say the APC, they want to challenge the outcome of Osun State election. Say the number of lawful voters wey INEC talk no be so im be. So they wan carry the matter go court, which makes this very important episode of our broadcast very, very important, because this thing dey happen well. And we are moving towards the election. So make we no joke with this kind of situation. We suppose understand them. All right. We have to strengthen INEC independence and screening. INEC independence and screening need to be strengthened. Make they do their work well. No be say after the election, na im they will come say they won't go court, but because of this person no feel form well, they will come carry the election of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. They will come carry them throw away. So the question is, why not do their homework first before the election? That there, this independence and screening, now in the always that is where it comes to play. Right. Then number two is strict short litigation timeline. Say yes, so there have to be a time maybe say you feel carry yourself go court. All right. There have to be a time. So after election, no more say you want nobody won't carry anybody go court. I one way happen between Mr. Peter Obi and the president. Maybe say Peter Obi after the election. Now Peter Obi come dey ask say president no get a better certificate to run for that election. You should have done that before the election. That is what is called litigation timeline. There have to be a timeline. No be say after people don't suffer finish, you can't carry their vote through away because of one mistake of not having timeline and not doing proper screening. All right. So yes, the next one talks about narrow grounds for installing non-winners. Yes, because if you look at all of some of these examples where we don't talk before, for Kano, for Imo, for Edo, some of these example, court carry like the one wey happen for Zamfara, I believe, and of course in Imo State, na person wey carry number 4 for Imo State na person wey carry number 4 na im dey carry election give, just because of not being organized. All right, handling the winner to person wey no win the election. How the person wan take perform for office? Because no be the people na im vote am. He is not carrying the people's mandate. So there's consequence for that kind of mistake. And that is the whole essence of this kind of article to address. All right. So you will not hear this from the mainstream media. Now only for movement radio, now if you hear this kind of analysis. Then for the fourth one is that judiciary checks power, doesn't substitute choice. Yes. The work of judiciary, the work of court, be say make they check whether or not ojoro dey abi ojoro no dey. Na their work with that. To look at everybody. So this institution, they no do their work well in this particular side. Make they go do am well. No be say you come impose on the people, person wey no even win the election. All right, that is not the work of the judiciary. So that is why we want to set the record straight in today's article where we bring for our Ogbonge people, our Ogbonge Nigeria people. Then, talking about the people's role, wetin now be your own work now for this thing where we dey talk so? Wetin be your own assignment as the people? All right? Abi you want just leave everything for politician? It's not possible. No, that is now all of the country where you say you want Japa go. No be like that. There are people they think. There are people they think about how to bring about the solution to the problem. If any problem happen for their country, waiting they go to fight for, they say how they want to solve that problem. So when all of these things where they happen now, waiting be your own role now to demand change. Demand change. Talk, say this thing, good, not supposed to be like this. But are you not among those that are saying, nothing concern me, concern Nigeria? Oh. Me, I dey live my life. Anything where politicians do, make they do. And you want make your country better, you go complain, tire. Oh. That frustration go rise well, like Gary.
That thing wey you live for politicians, na im go come follow you. Even that thing wey they say you go live on your own, that place where they live, you no go see them again.
Yes.
Because those politicians, they are not doing it for you. You are the one to do it for yourself. So waiting concern Nigeria, concern you. e no only concern only politicians. The reason why we dey get all dis problem be say we dey misunderstand what is the meaning of politics. Politics means your social life, your security, your economy, your education, your health. Everything that you are doing is politics. So politics revolve go around everything wey you dey do, all the things wey you dey do, because if the political culture or the political scene in the country no good, the money, the food wey you dey get, where how who dey take, if no be politicians dey control the road wey dey carry the food from where they farm to where you get, you go get am. Or if they allow the country to go somewhere make everything scatter, insecurity no dey, that peace wey dey say you go live on your own, you go see the peace wey you go stay on your own, or you go even comot go hustle get the money wey you go buy the food, or your children go survive? Ask all these questions. So you have every business with politics. No dey talk say I no get any, now leave am for politicians. You dey say okay, you don surrender your life, your health, your happiness, your peace, your everything to politicians, make somebody do am for you. You wetin be your own contribution towards that your life wey you dey talk say make another person take charge? That's why vote for the right person. We no dey say make you no go out vote o, but vote for the person wey go ensure say that food wey you dey see, you go see am every day. That health school wey you want your children make dey go, you go see say they go fit go. That house wey you wan build, you go build am. That lifestyle wey you wan live, you go live that lifestyle. Wey if you die, your children, you know say your children no go dey miserable. So you have every business with politics. Thank you. You can continue.
Yes, because Nigerians, one of the things wey we dey always do wey be say we dey try run away from our problem. And the issue be say, no be say you no fit run away from your problem o. The issue be say your problem go fit run away from you. Na the real wahala be that.
The more you run, the
You
more
want
e follow you.
the more you dey try to run away from your problem, the more your problem is running after you.
Because
Hmm?
more steps, more problem. So
Yes.
better stand where you dey, solve the one where you dey inside before you move to the next one. Because if you move to the next one problem dey there, they wait for you. So you carry the one wey dey back, join am with the one wey dey where you move go to. So na so the problem go take dey gather, dey continue dey gather, dey gather, dey gather, till e become way wey you no fit solve am. Na so you go leave am to your children. Your children go inherit am. That's why we too dey collect now, because the problem is not solved since. So now we too wan take see how we go take do our own, solve this problem, so that our children, even if they go get am, they go get am easy, so they fit make things right. No be say you go leave problem say I go do am tomorrow, I go jump from here. You leave Nigeria. If you leave Nigeria, one day you go still come back, or you go pack every of your family member, all your extended family, everybody go leave Nigeria. You no go pack them all. So you have, whether you think say you don escape, no be escape you escape, na temporary break you go. This country still dey your blood, your family go still come back this country. So whether you dey Nigeria, you no dey Nigeria, you get role to play, make Nigeria better. Because in one way or the other, the bad thing wey dey happen for the country go haunt you wherever you are, go follow you go anywhere where you dey. Even if you think say I dey China and Nigeria dey far now, the thing no go reach, e go reach you there. Because anything wey you commit there, they go say na Nigerian person. One day maybe you do something, or no matter how or say you no get this thing, patriotism for your mind, if you dey see the thing wey dey happen for your country, one day say this thing no fit end, and they go dey intimidate you there, they go dey harass you everywhere. Why don't you go back to your country? You come other, all those things go make you cry. So those things, before time wey you yourself go dey think say old age don catch you there, you know how they dey treat old people, no be the way we dey treat old people here. So you don't old age don't catch you, they go still carry you come dump you for Nigeria. That problem when you run before, when you feel maybe do something about it, now you are weak and e don compound, you don become big, you don accumulate, you don gather, and old age come catch your body. Na so you go come dey. Dat poor hospital wey you run leave dat time, you don come back to it. When you don get problem, they no go carry plane carry you go there again. You go still dey here dey battle am. So it's better more do am now than wait till when you get plenty wey we no fit do am. And if your children maybe dey come ask you, say daddy, uncle, grandpa, when you dey young, dis problem dey Nigeria. Yes, e dey. You go tell dem, hey, e dey, but e no reach like dis. So dat time wetin you people do about the problem? Wetin you go tell dem? You go tell dem say you run go China, you run go Turkey, you run go America, you run go London, you run but you still come back and you still leave the problem for dem to fight. You think say they go dey happy with you? Or you go dey advise dem better fight dis problem, or they go ask you wetin you do during your own time? So na all things wey we suppose dey do. That's why we dey call our audience. If you get anything wey you wan contribute pertaining wetin we dey talk since, or anything pertaining Nigeria, pick up the mic or drop your comment. We are all here to dialogue, to discuss, to interact with one another towards what? The Nigerian project. This is our home. We can't say, oh, everybody will run and leave the country. No. All of us get role to play. This is our role. That's why we say the role of the people. They should what? They should demand change. My brother, continue.
Yes. So you have said it all. All right. We must demand change. We know if we leave this problem, say na another person or na another people, now go come help us solve that. It has to take our collective effort. And we dey always talk about where for this our platform, and we'll continue to say it until our people get am say, hey, there's no shortcut when you are climbing a palm tree. You know, say if you want climb palm tree, there's no way you want take do shortcut, say you want reach up. It's not possible. You go climb am step by step. No shortcut for palm tree. And so the liberation struggle for Nigeria be. Nigerians they look for shortcut for where shortcut no dey. Shortcut is not a bad thing. Looking for shortcut is not a bad thing. But when you are looking for shortcut for wrong reason, in the wrong places, all right, then you find yourself into more trouble. That long journey where you no wan pass, now that time you won't go. As they try the pass shortcut so, na him your journey go just dey far dey go. Because you want to pass shortcut where you know sabi, we never even walk. It's like traveling on a journey. You won't pass shortcut, but you see, say as they try the pass shortcut, the journey come
The
dey
shortcut
long,
come
long and
long
long
pass the
and long.
normal road.
No be say you have to reverse until you reverse. Now, so you could just dey miss road they go because of your strong head. You have to reverse and come back to the main road from where you first lost.
So even
so
the
e be
people
for
wey dey
Nigeria.
ruin the system, them too they know they follow shortcut. They create processes wey go make you look like say na normal something. Them too they take time do their thing. So then why you where you want fix that problem? Say you want take shortcut. No shortcut for that thing. Them too they know they do shortcut. You too do follow the long process. That's why we dey tell you the system no be today. Now something we don't build for long. And every day they take them too they polish am so that e go continue dey serve them. So we will want say we want make the system work for all of us. You think say one day you go just say you stand up do no. That's why we say we have to organize and then have a sustainable move so that we'll get it to the right position. So my brother, continue.
Now so it be, we must check ourselves well. Look at that map well. Make we check whether or not we still there for track. Abi we no dey for track again. Very important question to so sorry, my network dey glitch. So yes, number one thing wey we go do be say, what this our article today they talk about, say no be about argument for apathy. We are not arguing whether or not you dey come outside come vote, abi you no dey come outside come vote. Now I think what they call apathy be that. Say you dey fear to come out to vote, they fear you. You dey fear to come outside to vote. That is not the argument that we are trying to make today. All right? Citizens must keep voting. Yes. That vote where you thought say no go vote again. Now that vote na him be the solution. That vote where you dey run for, na him be the real solution. Just like person wey dey look for pikin. Him come talk say no go near man again.
No go work.
You dey look for
Or
pikin.
even
You thought say no go near man. Say, I will never.
maybe they want do surrogacy.
Even surrogacy. The man go still put something for there. Now. Pikin no go come from thin hair. Something have to touch something. That is the whole essence of voting. In voting, there's no. How can you have a society without participating in voting and you want it to work? It's not going to work.
And
you have to
election is
continue
not the
to
only
try.
way we can participate. We can always ask questions, make sure engage the system.
Yes.
But most Nigerians, even the few percentage where we get where they come out and vote, if Adibin will get that population still where go they engage the system, hold the system to account, at least the system will change. But the only thing where
And
they do after
that is
they
why.
vote, everybody go hold hand, go and sit down again. Don't be the right
Aha.
thing now. You vote. That vote where you vote, engage the system. When things
Yes.
wey no suppose dey no happen right, person promise you, you no deliver that promise. Okay, person tell you say him go pay you your money and he no pay you the money, you go sit down dey look until when he wan pay you? Till you die be that na. But if him tell you say him go pay you your money, you go dey disturb until him pay you that money. So na the same thing. Na promise wey that person promise you, na owe wey that person owe you. If you no deliver, disturb until him deliver before you go allow am. If you see say okay now you pay money for park, you wan travel, maybe the conductor collect your money, driver say e no go take you where you go take, where you don give money for. Well, who you go either dey give you your money or dey take you to where you wan go. So now the way you dey drag with your person wey you don pay money for market, say give me beans, 1 cup of beans, the person no wan give you the beans and him collect your money. The way you dey drag na so you suppose dey drag when you vote. That person wey promise you say na this thing, fight am the same way you dey fight that person wey that customer for market, that bus stop conductor or that bus conductor or that driver or that park agbero wey you don give money. The way you dey fight that your neighbor wey don borrow money from you, na so you suppose dey fight all those people. Na promise they dey promise say they are there to serve you, they are there to deliver, and they no deliver, you still dey look them, and after some time they go still come tell you. And one funny thing about it, they no go even tell you sorry, they go still promise another promise again. Haba, we suppose change now. This thing, that's why we dey call election leadership and citizenship as what? Social contract. Now contract, you don hire labourer, him go do this thing to you and him no deliver and you still dey allow am make him go free. They know say they no dey pay am him salary, or they dey pay am him salary. All the things wey they don promise and say they go give am, all those allowances, all those package wey him dey collect them. But the one wey him promise you, wey you dey pay am through your tax, him still dey collect that money, but him no dey deliver wetin him promise, wetin you put am there to do. and you still dey look am dey go. My brother, my sister, why are we like this? Why are we like this? We need to do something about this. Please. If we do not do something about this, that's why in movement radio we say what? Our collective silence. That silence wey we dey silence, no be so e suppose be. We no suppose keep quiet. You can just continue.
All right. So the cocoa be say we must participate, one way or the other. Mm, we must keep the participation very, very important. Then citizen must keep voting. Oh, okay. We don't talk about that one. Demand lawmakers close the gap. Demand lawmakers close the gap. It's still part of participation. You have to make demands. Without making demands, there's no
Yes,
point.
it's still
All right.
part of participation. We are just trying to tell the lawmakers, as the makers of the law and the judiciary, instead of them to allow say na court go dey decide things, the law should be very clear. Say if anything should happen during election, as we don state before, say timeline for litigation should be provided. One, make e no dey pass some time. And then INEC should participate on it or should do its own responsibility. The court should also do its own responsibility. Make this one no dey decide the work of this one, because judiciary deciding the outcome of election, that is truly showing that INEC responsibility is what being relegated down to the background. So INEC is just like a messenger. After you organize election, then it will allow the court to announce. Instead of it, if you check the act of INEC, na dem dey decide who dey make the announcement. But now na court dey make the announcement of who win the election. So legislature should what? The lawmakers should what? Bridge the gap, close that gap of saying INEC should not be the one to announce. No, everything should happen within the business of judiciary in the politics or in the election should be pre-election matter should be handled pre-election time. Election matter should be handled after the election, and you should have time limit. Anybody wey don succeed go into the ballot, make e no come be say at the end of the day after people don vote am, make dem no come change the matter to another thing again. That gap, that trust wey no dey between the people and the system, they should bridge the gap, they should close the gap. That trust should come back. Make the people trust the system.
Yes, very correct. We have to demand. Name the structural outreach. Yes, we have to name the structural outreach. How the matter won't take be. When we say wuru no go day for this pattern. All right. We wuru no go day. We have to iron it out very well. And that is the long and short of this our article and our sources: Premium Times, Channel Television, ICIR, Data Fight, INEC Data. Those are our sources for this our Ogbonge article we will bring to you for today. So let's move to the other article, if we can. What's the title of that other article, Comrade Abdullahi?
And I think you have them in documents through your WhatsApp.
Okay, it is in
I send it.
document. Okay, so we
Yes,
must take a look
see
at
them.
this and I believe you are enjoying this article.
In
Okay,
case anybody have
so the
anything
next
to
one is
introduce,
response to Peter Obi, I believe, based on
yes,
what
that's the
I'm
first
seeing
one.
here. So
Yes,
let's
then the
let's
second
dig
one.
into that. Let's dig into that. So that's
Just
the
to,
second
I'll
one.
just go
So,
into it.
but we believe say you they enjoy our Obunge articles for today, and unlike other platforms where you just have you know propaganda machines holding holding brief for the establishment, we are a different entity from this side of things. So yes, maybe I'll call on you to read it. It's on the screen. I would put it on the screen right now. Let me share the screen. This one. So I'll do the summary.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Okay. I believe you can see it now. Is it all legible? Is it okay?
Yes, yes, it's okay. It's okay. Can you hear me?
Okay. So kindly read. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. So this is a response by to Peter Obi by it's not this one is not response by of movement radio. It's an article in response to the speech of Peter Obi. So it's not our own statement. This is just like a disclaimer. We are telling you it's an opinion of a writer, not our own opinion. Because movement radio is not it's non-partisan. We don't align with any political party. All what we do is what we do things that will liberate and make Nigeria a better country for all of us. So this is how and the writer is what Tatuga Sinagolum Mats. Sorry if I murdered that name, but it's, so number one, he said, Mr. Peter Obi, on what grounds are you referring to the present political arrangement in Nigeria as a democracy? From the First Republic, when Nigeria gained flag independence from Great Britain to this Fourth Republic, virtually every single election has been marred by state-sponsored violence, voter suppression, ballot box snatching, and target political assassinations. The political reality in Nigeria resembles a system of regional warlordship, warlordism, rather than a functioning democracy. The material interests of working masses are never the reason the political elite contest elections. Rather, they run to preserve political dynasties, secure unrestricted access to the public treasury, and sustain patronage network using public resources. It is precisely for this reason that they weaponize state security forces, armed cult groups, and Agberus to manipulate election outcomes. Number two, you wrote, I believe these families deserve our collective compassion. Sorry, up a little. Can you hear me? Up.
I can hear you. Should I move the? I should move the document up. Sorry.
Yes, yes, you can move it up, please.
Can you see it now?
Yes, good. So, number two, you wrote, I believe these families deserve our collective compassion, solidarity, and support. I therefore hope the families of those who lost their loved ones will be identified and reached through visits, condolence, and appropriate compensation. irrespective of political side to which they belong. I find this framing deeply problematic. Speaking of compensation, reduce the state sanctioned murder of citizens to administrative expense, as true peace victims were merely collateral damage on a foreign battlefield. These citizens were murdered at polling unit and INEC accredited centers, all erected next to their homes, while exercising their constitutional guaranteed civic rights. A political leader of your standing should be demanding uncompromised, sorry, move it up. Okay, should be demanding a political leader of your standing should be demanding uncompromised justice and criminal prosecution, not taking financial handouts. The same speed, tactical aggression, and state resources that agencies like the DSS deploy to hunt down and detain peaceful protesters and political dissidents should be mobilized to arrest the perpetrators, their political godfathers, and the armed security personnel deployed to those polling units who stood by or aid this violence. When prominent leaders propose compensation instead of demanding structural accountability and swift prosecution, they inadvertently help normalize electoral terrorism. Number three, democracy did not win in Ocean State. An entrenched political dynasty won, securing their wealth, political leverage, and patronage network. Please stop conflicting the electoral victories of a ruling class with the liberation of the masses. The working people of Osun State and indeed all Nigerians will only win up a little, please. Good.
Can you see it? Can
The
you see
working
it?
people of yes, the working people of Osun State and indeed all Nigerians will only win when they secure functional public infrastructure, living wages, fully equipped hospital, quality public education, industrial jobs that guarantee human dignity, and a security architecture that defend the population rather than oppressing them. If none of the fundamental material things are guaranteed to the ordinary people of Oshun, on the basis is the electoral on what basis is this electoral outcome being celebrated as a victory for the people?
All right. Are we done? So
Yes.
sorry. I had so many things going on from my own end. Sorry,
Okay.
right?
So that's the end of it. And yes, it's very interesting. The article posts a lot of
That,
questions.
that
And
is the end. That is the end. That is
yes,
an article
that's
by
interesting.
Chinagolum Chatuga.
Yes, Otunga Maths. And
All right.
the
Let's take a
article
look
is
at the analysis of Nigerian political landscape and electoral process. This document critically examine the state of democracy and electoral practice in Nigeria, as articulated by Chituga Chinagolum Math. The author challenges the notion of Nigeria as a democracy, citing a history of electoral malpractice and the prioritization of elite interest over the welfare of the masses. Please, um, Mr. Abdullahi, please, can you quickly just continue doing the reading? I had to attend to something, so
okay.
I'll be back So let me just be doing the back end. What's going on? Key argument. Just start from key argument. I'll be back by the time
Okay, the
you're
key,
done. So sorry.
okay. Okay, the key arguments. Bullet point one: electoral malpractice. Then, since Nigeria's independent elections have been consistently marred by one, state-sponsored violence; B, vote number two, voter suppression; number three, ballot box snatching; number four, targeted political assassination. So these are the key arguments by the writer, by Mr. Oragolu Matt, saying that election in Nigeria since the return of democracy has been, or since independence, has been characterized with a lot of things. So number two on the key arguments, regional world lordship, world lordism versus democracy. The author contends that the political system resembles regional world lordism more than a functioning democracy. So he's saying that this our political landscape does not represent an democracy, but a regional warlordism where like a foreign countries fighting or regional warlords fighting. Elite interest. Number three, elite interest. Political elite contest election not for the benefit of working masses, but to A. Preserve political dynasties. B. Maintain unrestricted access to public funds. C. Sustain patronage networks through public resources. So number four of the key argument is that weaponization of the state forces, state security forces, armed cult groups, and please, please, can you add? Okay, thank you. And Agberus are utilized to manipulate electoral outcomes. Number five, critique of compensation framing. The author strongly criticized the idea of offering compensation to victims of state-sanctioned violence, arguing that it reduces moral to administrative response, treats victims as mere collateral damage, and undermine the demand for justice and criminal prosecution. Call for accountability instead of compensation. The author advocates for uncompromised justice, criminal prosecution of perpetrators, their political sponsors, and complicit security personnel. Mobilize of state resources for arrest, m- mirroring the speed used against protesters. Victory in Osun State. The author reputed that celebration of the Osun State electoral outcomes as a victory for the people, asserting that it represents the triumph of an entrenched political dynasty securing its interest through liberation for the masses. Genuine victory for the working people of Osun and Nigeria will only be achieved through a functioning public infrastructure, living wages up, please, living wages, well-equipped hospital, quality public education, industrial jobs that ensure human dignity, and a security architecture that protects rather than oppress the population. Let's go into the mind map. So as I'll be explaining, you'll be doing your.
Yes, thank you so much. Let's go to the mind map now so that we can get it sorted, because this is a very interesting
Yes, this article is
article.
very interesting article, and it points out a lot of things which we even
Yeah.
stated in our previous episode. I would say. That's why then
So
I said,
maybe talk am for our Obodo Nigeria people language. So Nigerian political reality critique. Make we criticize wetin we dey go through for Nigeria. The writer of this article talk about many things. Democracy questioned. Election marred by violence. That is number one. The election wey we dey do for Nigeria na violence. Fight, 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 fight. Maybe people just dey lose their life. In the last election, do you know the number of people that lost their life, Mr. Abdullahi? Just guess. Oh yeah, now time dey go. You know,
I, I
can you guess?
I can't actually say the
29
numbers
lives.
because there's
29.
yes 29, but some at the time the some reports are saying 50, because that's why
Yes.
we can
No, if we are
I
to add
can't
some
say
other
specific.
unreported ones, and this is
Yes,
just that 29 is the reported one.
the
When
official
the Premium
reported
Times
account is
document. Yes. You're about to say something.
yes, I said that's the official documented numbers. But you know, most of the
Yes.
times documented official account numbers, there is what they call manage. They manage the situation. So in order not to say the actual figure, so that tension will be down, so that they will control the situation. But in actual sense, based on the reports from different quarters, they are saying over 50. So you can continue, please. Can you hear
Absolutely.
me?
Which is quite disturbing. Yes, I can hear you. So
Okay, just
people
continue.
are losing their life. Now wetin they call electoral violence be that. How you go dey do election and human lives are lost just because of a political ambition. That alone don't tell us say na thief you wan go thief for that place. Because if na service you wan go serve, you go dey sober. And of course, it will be on the people's decision. All right, not that you are trying to impose yourself on the people through violent means by bringing thugs and all of these things to election. All right, voter suppression. All right, yes, intimidation. When you try to, intimidate people from voting. All right, you are suppressing those that should vote from voting in an election. And you have the ballot box snatching. People don't vote finish. After they don't stay in the sun and the sunshine, after they don't suffer for inside the rain, some boys will just come carry the ballot box, run. Yeah, that is terrible. Then you have political assassinations. Yes. All right. I don't know if you are aware of Funshaw Williams in Lagos. During the second time of Tinubu as a governor of Lagos, that assassination case is still yet to be solved today. That assassination it still remains a mystery today, which is not supposed to be so. You have assassination attempt, all right? And it's not supposed to be so. So we should indeed look at all of these details to highlight wetin dey wrong for our country. Resembles word lordism, yes. Word lord, person wey get power pass, person wey get area boys and people wey dey loyal to am like courts pass. Is that what is called election? That's not an election. All right, that is warlordism. But that's not big English. Now these people will say they impose themselves on the people. Elite motivations preserve political dynasties. Yes, you have the Tinubu dynasty versus the Adeleke dynasty. That all we know them to be, since we know them, they are politicians. All right, secure public treasury access. Yes, just to have access to the people's resources. Sustain patronage networks. Yes, people they hail them. It is what Patrice or Ogbayogbon of Edo State call political hallelujah boys. Just they praise politician. There's even one idiot in Edo State now that is like the hype man of Okpobolo in governor of Edo State. They have turned politics to something else. Weaponize state security. Yes, we saw that infamous, very viral video of that Okpablo hype man saying, "We dey here, we gather dey here, and I go see him." He can't dey show the background of state security apparatus, the police, the army, say na them they go use for the election. Use armed groups and agberos. And in that particular election too, some agberos were caught with pump action. They were caught with armed ammunition. Yeah, they were caught with arms. Civilians, in a so-called election. In a so-called election, it is a disgrace. So problematic compensation or framing, reduces murder to administrative expense. Yes. Victim murdered exercising rights. Yes. Should demand justice, not handouts. One of the things where Mr. Peter Obi talk, be say the victim should be compensated, they should be remembered. But hope that is not just a Twitter statement and it's going to end on Twitter. Hope is not just going to end on Twitter. Hope there will be a proper follow-up. Hope there will be a proper follow-up to ensure that justice is delivered to the perpetrators of that, wickedness. Just because of politics. Mobilize resources for prosecution. Normalizes electoral terrorism. It should not be normalized, all right, to bring terror on electorate. It should be a crime. Anybody we want to do that kind of thing, or we evidence show say now the kind of thing we want can't do for election be that, make they arrest them, put them for corridor. Is that too much to ask? Arrest any idiot that want to bring violence to the elections and put him among criminals of his type, or send him back to whoever created him. Because how dare you joke with the people's mandate? That is a treasonable felony. It should be a treasonable felony if it's not already. So this is a very, very important issue. All right. And we have to look for a solution one way or the other. All right. Osun State victory analysis. Let's take a look at what happened for Osun State, my country people. All right. Entrenched dynasty won, not democracy. I talk am. I better not talk am. say this particular election wey happen for Osun State, so na election of person wey dey entrenched pass for the locality, person wey spend money pass, person wey get connection pass. You know what the role of Davido in that election? He used his platform of over 17 million people to push propaganda and to intimidate the opponent and to influence the Osun State people because they tend to love his music. Should election be based on such sentiment? It is left for the Osun State people to determine, all right, whether or not this is what they want moving forward. I hope we are not going to hear any complaint from the quotas, all right, that their person where they vote into power did not perform or has not performed, right? You know, not liberation of the masses. Yes. Are the Osun State people liberated? Are they liberated? True victory requires material changes. Yes. We cannot say anybody won that election if that doesn't translate to the material reality of the people. If it doesn't translate to how much better pay for the Osun State people, better standard of living for the Osun State people, we cannot call it a victory for the people. If it does not lead to quality infrastructure, because what we have caught Adeleke, the governor of Osun State, to have carried out a substandard project that you can imagine. You commission road. After 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the bridge done the spoil. Can you imagine that thing? So how can we call this one now an electoral victory when there is no quality social amenities for the people? All right, it does not result in the benefits from the people. Functional public infrastructure. Yes, I said it before. How many libraries are in Osun State, for instance? How many? How many public toilets are in public places? Do they even have lane for bicycle in Osun State, in their state roads? You are building a road. You no get drainage. You no get bicycle lane. You no get pedestrian crossing. You no get traffic lights. Waiting you gonna build, my brother. And our people, just because motor fit pass on top the road, they don't assume say e don't build the road with that. We have lowered the bar in this country, my brother. It should be a shame. How can you build road? You know, do all of those things we have mentioned. Pedestrian people no fit pass for there. No zebra crossing. No demarcation of line. No pedestrian bridge. No traffic lights. And you no drainage. And you say you build road. And this is typical of many of these roads that they commission. Many of these roads, it does not. I had network timeout. Many of these roads do not even have bus stops. Say, okay, this is the bus stop of something. I don't get timeline again. I'm back. Me they label all of the bus stop in no day, and you talk say you build road. It is crazy. And I hope our people are paying attention and not indeed, lowering the bar. We are satisfied with mediocrity. And analysts in the TV, in the radio, all of your professors, they cannot call out all of these things. You have professors in transport system. You have the yakpa for many schools. They would not sit down in front of the camera to speak about this low quality project just because of waiting. They don't want to lose their job. And it is in their job that they are also exploiting the students. You see? Now, how about living wages? Yes. How much are the workers in Osun State collecting as salaries, as a take-home package? Do you have a pension system? How effective it is? And of course, how much are they getting? The last video I saw about a guy, his mother worked for 33 years. 33 years in Ministry of Information. And after 33 years, they pay that mama 29,000 as a pension. Eh? After 33 years.
What a terrible situation. Well,
Nigeria
we will get things
is
right only when we start to respect our senior citizens.
it is a pity. It is a pity. It's a pity. And it's a shame, very big shame. You are paying your person will work for why won't what are you communicating to people where they for service who never retire? You are telling them to steal enough money so that they can use those stolen money to take care of themselves when they retire. That is what they are telling them. With this kind of mumu salary, with this mumu pension, 29,000 naira, that is like $20. Like, so talking about living wages, this is crazy. Quality public education, yes. What is the quality of education and quality of school in Osun State? All right, industrial jobs, all right, dignified security architecture, such that people are not vulnerable. This is the real deal of what Mr. Peter Obi and the established bloc in Nigeria, they should take it seriously. They should take this very seriously. They should not just write long epistles on Twitter that is not even going anywhere. Long epistle. So another
Actually,
one where I see for here,
yes,
another article where I see be, yeah, or is it the
yes,
same
that one.
thing to
Before we
Mr.
go
Peter?
into that one, please, let me just
Okay, please.
explain something.
Yes, go ahead.
This article actually it points the issues, the real issues, as they are, as they should be, because this article is not calling because what Mr. Peter Obi said, even to me, doesn't. I think he's not different from the ordinary politician. What he said, because asking for compensation for human life, so it means you are just reducing the human life to be to merely just something you can buy. Then it means if you reduce human life to something you can buy with money, that's when you are talking about compensation. Compensation only comes when maybe someone land or someone will be used for public goods. That's when you compensate. But human life lost as a result of political violence and the person. That's why the other day I was saying the peoples of Osun State, this is not a win for them, because the highest thing that the governor said after winning is what? Observing 1 minute silence. He did not mention categorically that okay, there is going to be what? A serious punishment, or a committee was set for to investigate that issue and to make sure they brought the perpetrators to book. The governor did not say that. And the IGP did not mention anything. Up to this moment, the election finished and announced, the result was announced on Sunday. This is Tuesday. There is no police report on the issue of whether any arrest or anything regarding that, what the incident, the political or violence or the election violence or terrorism that happens during the election. And by now, if had it been, but now the APC is thinking of constituting, taking the matters to what, to court, to challenge the outcome. But we are not yet having report from either any of the security agencies regarding what result and the perpetrators of that action. So that's to tell you the people are irrelevant in this, or in the whole this whole scenario. It's only the politicians that matter, and the outcome of the result and what they do is what matters. The lives of the people, highest you are calling for compensation. They should properly be identified and be compensated for what? This should serve as deterrent, because we allow this to keep going on. That's why we keep having repeated political or election violence in Nigeria for the past many years in Nigeria. So until unless when we start getting things right, proper justice system should be, and this should what should serve as example. This is a call to the president, the IGP, all the security apparatus in Nigeria, all the security forces we have. They should use this as what? As deterrent for 2027 election. The people that, because we are moving towards a general election. This is just a state, an off-season election or pre-season election that will come before the general election. And we have officially 29 people lost their life. And nobody is saying that, taking responsibility for this. And then nobody is talking about it. The highest thing is politicians just saying we condemn, we condemn. We have gone past the era of condemnation. We should be at the era of what? Action taking. Perpetrators should be brought to book, they should be properly punished, and proper measures to avoid all this should be taken. When severe, that's why when you look at, that's why when many people are advocating for what? For reform justice system to ensure justice delivery within a timely justice delivery, and then what? Make sure that whosoever deserves to be punished should be punished appropriately. In same environment like China, Singapore, or even Malaysia, or even Turkey, by now these people must have been picked up, and what? And capital punishment has been meted for them to serve as deterrent for others not even attempted. But in our environment, where it's still not even issue to trend on social media. It's not even an issue to trend. It's other issues. It's just the videos things that are trending. The celebration, the election, the outcome and the result, all sort of cock and bull. And then the one-on-one he did with Sheun are all the things that are trending. The lives of the people that are lost are not even issues to press the government to what? To take action on, or to ask all the police commissioners that you take to the state to make sure they ensure security. Who among them is taking responsibility? Who is in control of that place? Who is the officer, the police officer and the military officer, the DSS that were assigned to that polling unit that those things happen? They should be called. They should be held accountable. That's what we are calling, and we are keep calling that people should be held accountable for their actions or inaction. So thank you. Let's move to the next article.
Yes, thank you so very much for that analysis. So this next article um, is also very much important. This some would want to look at this article as partisan, but I don't think it is. But it is just an opinion
This
from
is
the
yes,
previous article, commentator,
yes,
Chetuya Shinagolum. So would you read it, or I
Matt.
should go ahead and read it?
I'll read it. Don't worry.
All right, please proceed.
Okay. A response to Obi's fraternizing with ruiners of Nigeria on Babangida's birthday by Chituya Chinagolum Matt. Omoyele Sowore seems to be the only opposition candidate who has boldness to directly call out the corrupt oligarchies oligarchs, in Nigeria. Peter Obi wishing Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida a happy birthday and even referring him to our father is completely unacceptable in my book. Up, please. Move it up, please. Okay, good. In my book, Babangida spearhead the structural adjustment program in Nigeria that wiped out our once thriving textual miles in Kano, Kaduna, Abia, and Lagos, and collapsed the state-owned industries such as the Okumo oil in Odo State. Then Obasanjo himself undermined our public education and healthcare system on behalf of the World Bank. All reference to his book, introduced the needs program and forced Nigeria to adopt the Washington consensus, which can we go up? Which led to aggressive privatization and created the devastating income inequality we see in Nigeria today. All reference to Chituya's ex Muhammad Buhari was an unmitigated disaster who institutionalized ethnic nepotism, destroyed the currency, and plugged tens of millions into multidimensional poverty. These are the architects of Nigerian ruin. Yet Peter Obi continues to fraternize with them, showing them showering them with differential titles like our fathers, our brothers, and elder statesmen. Of course, people argue that Peter Obi is merely pretending and that he is only aligning with these corrupt oligarchs to build a political structure that will serve as the springboard to power. This might sound clever to some until you realize that these corrupt elites are not children who do not know their left from their right hand. They are not people you can simply use like a footmat. They are not going to support your presidential ambition merely because you send them colorful birthday message. They are not 12 years old girls going through poverty who will start blushing simply because you write impressive prose to massage their egos, These entrenched elites are ruthless. These entrenched elites are ruthless political operators connected to global capital networks. They do not trade political power for pleasantries. No, are they naive figure who will hand over state power simply because someone writes flattering birthday tribute to massage their egos. They demand ironclad consensus, demand ironclad consensus. The more Godfather Peter Obi aligned with on his path to power, the more compromise he must surrender. If he ever attend the presidency through their backing, his hand will already be tied. The material interests of Nigerian ruling oligarchs and the survival needs of the working class are di- diametrically opposed. They can never be reconciled. You cannot guarantee Dangote and Bua their monopolist market. Their monopolist market protection, tax holdings, and preferential foreign exchange access on one hand while promising affordable cement and basic goods to every Nigerian on the other hand. You cannot eradicate poverty, destitution and child labor in northern Nigeria while preserving an economic hierarchy where feudal elites exploit the Almajiri system for cheap labor and cattle herding while slashing billions in sorry up why slashing billions in Abuja real estate and offshore account. You cannot liberate the street beggar and Agberos in Lagos while maintaining the political patronage network that depend on that very system of extortion to thrive. You cannot fix the atrocious income, atrocious income inequality and underdevelopment in the southeast while defending the parasitic regional elite whose wealth depend on that very system of exploitation. Up, we saw this, sorry, on that very exploitation. Okay. You cannot free the slaves and still keep the masters rich and happy. This is why every genuine revolutionary in history took a clear side or defend the material interests of the masses against the oppressive ruling class. Whenever leaders try to strike a compromise with the oppressors, it only brought more suffering to the people. We saw this in South Africa, where Nelson Mandela and his cycle thought they could appease the apartheid ruling class by preserving their mining. Sorry. Up, can we go up? Preserving their mining contracts, corporate monopolies, and private land holdings while supposedly liberating ordinary black South Africans. The compromise failed, and today South Africa suffers from some of the most outrageous and vomiting inducing levels of income, inequality, and unemployment in the world. Our early anti-colonial leaders in Nigeria made the exact same mistake. They tried to satisfy the economic interests of the Great Britain by preserving the colonial trade structure, cash crops exploitation, and banking institutions set up by the British while naively believing they could liberate everyday Nigeria and transform the country into a truly sovereign and prosperous republic. You cannot eat your cake and have it. Peter Obi cannot satisfy both oppressors and the oppressed. He must pick a side and stop confusing. Sorry, is that the end? Good. And stop confusing Nigerians. Even the Christian scripture states clearly that the light and the darkness share nothing in common. We do not need a good and kind leader who tries to please everybody. We need a revolutionary leader who will confront deeply entrenched political dynasty and liberate Nigerians from the grip of predatory capitalism. Lastly, this is not an uncritical endorsement of Showore. Showore has his own political flaws and contradictions, especially his connection to American intelligence network through funding and grants. However, we must give credit where it's due. Sowore deserve recognition for having the courage to take a bold stand and call out Nigerian corrupt oligarchs by their name rather than bowing before them. Sorry. So that's it. That's the end of the article. And it's a response to Mr. Peter Obi's birthday message to the former president General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida on his 85th birthday, where he called him our
Yeah.
father,
So
while
I had a
the
network
writer,
timeout.
okay, where the writer
Yeah.
feel
So
is
sorry.
not supposed to be because of the tragic incident that happened during his leadership and all the things that transfer during. So now we are going into the mind map. Let's analyze and talk about what the article clearly states so that we have like a good understanding. So should I go or you go with the mind map?
Yeah. Let me quickly go with the mind map because we are already over. Well, we have to complete all our articles before we leave.
Mhm.
So, criticizing Mr. Peter Obi's political alliances. This is by Shetuya Shinagolum, a respected political and public commentator on X. I hold him in high esteem. So let's take a look at what he has to say about Mr. Peter Obi, shall we? And of course, this is not partisan. Neither is anybody picking on Mr. Peter Obi. All right, I think we have to give that caveat. So yes, responding to Mr. Peter Obi's action, wishing Babangida happy birthday. Referring to Babangida as our father. Make una self check am. Say that thing, it makes sense. So let's talk about Babangida for a minute. He spearheaded structural adjustment program. The kind program where we say we still dey chop the koboko till today. Now, why your currency be like tissue paper if you don't know? The agreement to keep devaluing your currency. Now, Babangida start
Yes.
destroy textile mills, collapse state industry. Now, so we see am. Now the legacy of Babangida way Oga Peter Obi dey wish happy birthday. Be that. Let's take a look at criticism of oligarch. May we shook mouth for all of the owners of Nigeria. Now they call oligarchs. People will constitute principalities and powers economically and politically. Let's talk about Obasanjo. Undermine education and healthcare, introduce needs program, forced Washington consensus, led to privatization and inequality. If na no know wetin they call privatization, now when government sell national assets, make individuals for the manager at giveaway prices. One of the major companies where Obasanjo and Atiku sold was Alcom, Nigeria Aluminium Company. That particular asset was worth over $3 billion as at the time. Guess what? How much we Baba Obasanjo and Atiku sold that asset? They sold it for $180 million. You can imagine the distance between $3.2 billion and $180 million. That is what selling national assets at giveaway prices to their cronies. And not be only that Nigeria Aluminium, no, many other
And is it
assets.
functioning?
Eh?
That, is it still functioning? How much did it help Nigeria? That's the
Now,
question.
so we
Because even if you sell to your friends, so that he said selling to his friends is not a problem. Even if you sold it out to private individuals at giveaway price, how much does it contribute to the national economy? How much jobs since selling the Nigerian Aluminium Company to private individual? How many jobs does the company provide for Nigerians? Because sometimes, yes, you can say maybe you can go down on you, but even which we did not subscribe to, sell something to at its own value. But even when you sell it at that lower price, does the for example the margin of over 2.6 million dollars that you reduce the thing to, or over
billion,
almost,
billion, margin of two
yes,
point something billion, not million. No.
billion that you
Mm.
left for, does it
Yes.
translate into giving employment?
Aha. Now the right question most of
It,
us has with that. May we ask
it
them.
does not translate. I think our audience should also do well by commenting, requesting for the mic, where we should not just be here interacting within ourselves. They also have role to play. All avenues have been provided for them to either comment or pick up the mic. We thank them for joining, but joining alone, we thank you for that. But you can also do more by requesting the mic or dropping your comment so that we will make it very interactive.
So I think I am back. I had the network timeout. Okay. So
Yes,
next person to put for our Yokometer now Muhammadu Buhari and some of the things we in do, institutionalized ethnic nepotism, carrying people in ethnic people, put them for sensitive, positions, mm, destroyed currency, caused mass poverty. Now the people wey Mr. Peter Obi dey wish happy birthday be this. Before Buhari die, and we wish am happy birthday now. Right? And of course, we went to pay homage to the mother of Buhari at the time. So arguments against pretending oligarchs are not naive. Oligarchs are not naive. All of these people we will mention, so they are doing what they do intentionally. They demand concessions, not pleasantries. Alliances lead to compromises. Compromises tie hands of if elected. All of these things wey Mr. Peter Obi dey do, wey him think say he go use am gain the endorsement of these people wey we just mentioned. So it has been revealed, and logically so, that all of these things wey they do so, it cannot lead to any form of good governance. All right, because whenever he gets to power, people will support you to enter power. They go begin they control you now. All right, opposing interest, oligarchs versus working class. You have a
yes, oligarchs
eradicate.
versus working class. Sorry, you have a
Yes.
timeout. You can.
Okay. Am I back now?
Yes, you are back.
Am I back now?
Yes, you are. You can continue. Sorry. So working class here, we mean our ordinary people. That's all of us, the masses, not the realness. That's what oligarchs. Oligarchs means the owners of Nigeria, while the working class are just the ordinary people, the masses in Nigeria, that's the citizens. So, and then we'll give examples. We say market protection versus affordable goods. Then we have, sorry, just wait for our host as you get back into the studio because his network keep messing up. So you can just drop your
So yeah,
comments
I'm
or
back.
any. Yes, you are back. Sorry,
So
network time
sorry.
out.
That
I
network
kicked it out.
literally kicked me out.
Yes, it
Crazy.
did.
That is crazy stuff, man.
Sorry, that's
And we are about
the
to
system we are
round
battling with.
round things up. Yeah. So
Yes, we are almost there.
almost
We are
there.
just
So
there
talking
where we
about
mentioned the examples. We said market protection versus affordable price.
yes, that is where we are.
Yes, for affordable goods. Sorry, that's where we are. You can continue.
So yes, the elite wealth versus poverty eradication. Yes, you see, they are trying to eradicate the poverty, but how about the elite wealth? Because there will have to be a redistribution of resources. Some of the resources where these elites don't capture, we will have to take it from
Yeah,
them if we want to
this is just
eradicate poverty.
yeah, this is
But
just
how do
telling
you
you
now
how
do
you are
that
going to have
when you are
policy
loyal to this
contradiction.
very same people?
Sorry, these are pointing
Yeah.
as how your alliance will result to policy contradictions where you want to do this, you want to make sure control by what? By the oligarchs. And then how will you ensure you protect them and you make sure that the Nigerians get affordable goods? And how are you going to make sure that the elites maintain their wealth? And how are you going to eradicate poverty? These are things that are what contradicting each other. That's why showing the alliance is going to result to a lot of problem. And these are the examples of the problem that you are going to face. Because if you say you want to eradicate poverty, then the elite wealth, because the one way to eradicate poverty is ensure what wealth circulation. Make sure that everything money wey dey in hand of one person may circulate in the economy. But if e no circulate, that means e go still dey one person hand. Then the next one, patronage network versus liberation. How will you balance the situation between those people, those connections wey you don get, those oligarchs wey you don connect with them, things wey dey don do you before you win the election or support wey dey don give you, and how will you do that at the same time liberate the people, free the people, and make sure you ensure real actual citizenship within the country. So these are all contradictions, these are all questions where problem go dey. Then regional elite wealth versus development. So across all the regions, either the southeast to the south to the southwest to the north central, the northwest, the northeast, how are you going to make sure those elites wey don dey na dem dey benefit from all the thing wey dey happen from that region? How are you going to make sure say you balance their wealth and then at the same time ensure those regions develop like the Niger Delta? How will you sure the Niger Delta Development Commission individuals no dey hijack the money, the Northeast Development Commission, the oligarchs, the regional elite wey dey benefit those things, they know they ensure and you make sure you balance everything between them. They enjoy what they want to enjoy and the people are get the development they need. So all these things are issues. Then rich masters versus what freed slaves. How will you compare? How will you balance rich masters, those people wey support you, wey you call them fathers, our senior elites, our senior brothers? How will you balance the relationship between them and then at the same time free the slaves? That's the people. So these are contradictions. Then historical precedents of compromise. So this one is what how it take happen before. Examples of how it take happen before. The first one is South Africa, just our neighbors where the xenophobic wahala dey happen. E give us example how Mandela and his group legend wey we dey always celebrate in South Africa, Nelson Mandela, how that time. That's why our grandpapa Robert Mugabe dey always say After all, the only him he is happy. He live with his people with their land, while Nelson Mandela live his people with points. So these are the issues. Because Nelson Mandela then think that you can still do maintain the relationship with those white people and still make sure say your people still get what they want. But at the end of the day, now it's showing that it cannot work. So you cannot compromise your demands. What you want, you go for it. That's why a movement radio will say, what? We are not neutral. You cannot maintain neutral ground. That okay, and I support the good and I support the bad. Lie. Is either you are for good or you are for bad. So this example, Mandela compromised with apartheid rulers. He compromised some of their demand with the white apartheid rulers then preserve mining contracts. He allowed them to still have their mining contract. He did not withdraw it because most of the land today, if you go and check some of the things happening in South Africa, you see the problem is not today. It's far back, far history lane. And then monopolize and monopolies. He makes sure that they have their mining contracts and they maintain they are the ones owning the mining companies. Then result in what? High inequality. Since they are the ones who owns the company, so they decide how to treat the people. So and then it results to unemployment. Most of the South Africans don't have job. That's why even this xenophobic attack that is happening on other people's country in South Africa is as a result they are complaining that other people come and take their job because they don't have job. So that's why we get all this wahala. It's as a result of compromise. This is the first example in South Africa. It results to inequality and unemployment. So we move to the next one. Sorry, can you shift it before we can no this way first so that we'll see the okay early Nigerian example. Sorry, Nigerian early example. Our leaders, those are first anti-colonial. Thank you, early Nigerian leaders. Those anti-colonial advocates, our papas, our elites. Then when they think say they will still get independent and still maintain the relationship with the British. They preserve colonial trade structure while the way the colonial masters then they do their trade, they do their business in Nigeria or in Africa, they still maintain it while they think say they will still get independent sovereign country, which is not going to be true. Exploit cash crops and banking. So they allow them to do all they want to do. That's at the early stage of our anti-colonial masters. They all allow them, they can still do their business, maintain their banking system, and still get independent, which did not work. It shows that it did not work. Result limited to true sovereignty. That result to what? Limited, not complete sovereignty. That's you did not get complete independence. You still be answerable to the colonial master. That's where we get it wrong. You cannot compromise. You take what? You take side. So the actual thing to do is what? You take side. If you take, don't say, okay, I will be for this, I will be for that. No. You go for the best what you can do. Okay. Call for revolutionary leadership. So the writer call for revolutionary leadership. The first thing to do is what? Take side. You take side. If you are for good, you are for good. If you are for bad, you are for bad. You either go for the people or you go with the ruiners. That's you stand with the people or you start with the ruiners. The next one is what? Cannot please oppressors and the oppressed. You cannot please the two. At the same time, you want to please you oppress the what? The oppressors. That's people where they oppress. You cannot please them at the same time say the oppressed. That's the people where they oppress. The same time you still you can also at the same time please them. So number three, you what light and darkness are not shared nothing. So this one is a biblical scripture. That's this one is from our scriptures, holy scripture, where the Bible say light and darkness are not didn't share anything. You know, when light comes, the darkness disappear. When the dark comes, the light, if you cannot outshine the dark, the place become dark. So that's how it is. You cannot be in the same point. The next one need for confront confront the dynasty. So you must what confront the dynasty. You must confront them, or you what you are either for them or you are not for them. Confront them and tell them no, 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 this cannot continue. The next one needs to liberate from sorry predatory capitalism. So the people need you need to what liberate the people from what predatory capitalism. So that's the people have to be free from capitalism that is what like a predator and what that's people where they chop just like the animals in the bush where they chop one another. Sorry, you can continue from here. Take the last part.
Well, we don't the ending of the show, and it's interesting what we have unwrapped towards the end of this show. And the last part of the yeah, boldly call out corrupt oligarchs. Comparison with Showore, is that he's very bold in calling out the corrupt oligarchs. You know, you have to confront them. You have to call them the names that they should be called. Hey, Showore is basically answering a court case for calling Tinubu a certain name. That is the kind of audacity that you need in an oppressed situation. Acknowledge flaws. US intelligence funding, all right, deserves credit for courage. Yes, no. Some would say that there is indeed a funding that he is getting from an NGO associated with the US intelligence. Do they have substantial ground for that? You be the judge. All right. And of course, the article ends by saying that, well, the article ends in stating that we have to give him some level of credit. And of course, ultimately, we are giving our audience a lot of credit today for joining us in this broadcast. We have been here for 2 hours, 37 minutes, and this is the third article that we just finished. And big thanks to you for supporting the live. Thank you so much to our dear audience for staying true. Please do not forget to drop your comments. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us if need be, so that you'll be notified that we are live and direct whenever we are live and direct. It's been a very yes, I'm back again. So it's been a very thorough show, and we thank you everybody from our Facebook to our YouTube, Twitch, X. Today has been quite very interesting. There will be a repeat broadcast tomorrow for as many as those that missed today's show. Please look forward to it by 5 p.m. Nigerian time, 12 noon Central American time. Please look forward to our other shows. Our next show would Our next show will happen on Wednesday and on Friday, then Saturday and Sunday. Look
So, um,
look forward to it, and I'll pass the mic to our correspondent in Abuja.
so thank you for being here with us. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your dedication and always being here with us. Your consistency is always appreciated. You have done well for coming. Please do well by commenting, and we always call on you to what pick up the mic, contribute. This is not our only job. The Nigerian project is our collective responsibility. So let's organize and have a sustained action that will help us pick that part that will lead to our collective liberation. So we have done well. We go through three articles, which most of the times they don't get the attention of the conventional media. And they all post a question to all of us. And we can do well even if you forget any question, pertaining what the articles ask you to do. You can go do well by going and, and replay it again. You can replay it over and over so that you'll be able to sustain yourself, you'll be able to educate yourself, enlighten and inform yourself. So this is a wonderful ride. This is Movement Radio Nigeria Abuja. I remain Abdullah Salisu. So we'll have a repeat broadcast tomorrow, and then we'll have another live session on Thursday and a repeat broadcast on Friday. And all through, we do our live broadcasts Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, and Sunday. So we look forward for your engagement, your comments, your likes, your sharing. Thank you. This is Movement Radio, Abuja.
And thank you very much for staying tuned to us to the very end. Please look forward to our subsequent broadcast, and we'll be here. All right. Do not forget, what not a pro-democracy one. It's a problem that is, as we used to remind you, in two phases. All right, and perhaps what is indeed people are focusing on. All right, there's a liberation struggle awaiting the conscious. Nigeria has been captured by most rapacious class of evil men. All right, and our problem are our collective silence. That is number one. Then the enemies within, and of course the ruiners. And it is as a collective effort that we are going to bring an end to this situation. Otherwise, it will just be a vicious circle of merry-go-round. God forbid. And of course, if we also forbid it as a people, it will be a thing of history. But until then, the movement radio will keep bringing very power-packed article to change the narrative and empower minds. See you on Thursday for another fresh edition. Bye bye for now and enjoy the rest of your evening.